Stephanie Boyce from the Fresh Classroom with your classroom refresher. These videos are going to give you activities and lesson ideas that you can take back to your classroom, and the videos will only be 5 minutes or less. So let's get started. Today we're going to be learning about student-centered conferences, and these are so awesome. I can't remember how many times I've been talking to educators about students being in the driver's seat with their education, and a big thing that comes up is some teachers or some administrators just don't know how to plan for a student-centered conference, because traditionally we have parent-teacher conferences and the students kind of take a back seat. So this lesson is all about how to create student-centered conferences where students are in the driver's seat and we're getting your classroom fresh. Let's go. Step one for planning an awesome student-centered conference is to make sure that you plan with intention. Whether you're the teacher or if you are the administrator, you want to be certain that you are planning to the T. And so the first part of that is to decide on a date. For us, when I've done this in the past, we made sure that we planned these for the end of the grading cycle so that it quite naturally was a reflection on that student's performance for that grading period. So that's the first thing. Choose a date that's going to yield itself to getting good feedback from the students and for the parents to follow their progress. So you also want to make sure that you consider other social events that may be on the calendar. One thing you don't want to do is give parents too many things they have to do in a week. They're less likely to want to be engaged if there's too much going on. The second part of that is to notify parents in advance of those selected days. The next thing you want to do is use a scheduling tool to synthesize all the schedules, because parents have a lot going on and so do teachers and administrators. The one that we use is Sign Up Genius. And if you sign up for that, it's a free service you can use to make sure everyone's on the same page with scheduling those conferences. The next thing you want to do is determine a structure that's going to work for the logistics of your campus. When I've done this in the past, we schedule parents to come in for two 15-minute student-led conferences. And what that looked like was a student reviewing their math and science performance with either the math or science teacher, and reviewing their ELA and social studies performance with either the ELA or social studies teachers, so that parents were coming in for two 15-minute meetings. And so that would be the next thing to do. Make sure that you're going to determine a structure that works for you. Step two is very important for planning your student-led conferences. Make sure you allow students time to prep and practice. That's prepare and practice if they're going to have success with these conferences. You have to imagine that some students have never had a voice in this process before, and so it's going to be new to them, just like it's new to teachers and parents. So you want to make sure students have time to prepare. Whenever you decide on those dates, students should know about those dates. Make those known to the students. Allow students to compile a portfolio using a digital tool. For us, we started out with interactive notebooks where students kept up with their assignments and they kept track of those, but then we quickly moved to an online portfolio using an app called Seesaw. Or using a website called Seesaw, we were able to track students' progress through the grading period. So when they were doing things that were exciting in class, they would document those as they went through class. If you're in secondary, just about all the students have cell phones anyway. This was a way that we made it acceptable to use technology in class. You could take pictures of your project that you're working on, or on a really cool activity we were doing in class. You could take some video footage, you could take some photos. All of those things are compiled in the Seesaw portfolio for their kiddo. And then at the end of the grading period, as they're presenting, they have an opportunity to refer back to all the awesome things you've been doing in class that parents may have otherwise missed out on. Prior to conferences, you want to have students complete the student reflection guide. This is so important. The student reflection guide is going to guide students through mapping out their thoughts in advance, so that when they're ready to practice, they'll already know everything that they're going to really be focused on when they are presenting during their student-centered conference. So if you click down below or you hop over to our website, you'll be able to see we have a freebie posted just for you, and it's the Student Reflection Guide. Using this guide, students are able to reflect on how their performance was during this grading period. What is their current grade? And they get also an opportunity to reflect on what are some strengths that I've had in this class during this grading period. What were the things that they covered that they really connected with, that they were really strong in? It's very important for the reflection piece to include a celebration of our students' strengths, so that when we get to the next box, which is things that they can kind of work on, that they're really more receptive to consider those things because they've been celebrated for the things they've done well. The most important part of step 2 is to make students feel empowered to get in the driver's seat and lead those conferences, knowing what they're talking about and understanding how to present in a way that is professional. Their parents will be impressed, trust me. Now that we've planned with intention in step 1, step 2, we've gotten our students prepared and practiced. The third thing we're gonna have to do is make sure we execute like a pro. Now, this is the step that's so important for our teachers and our principals or administrators, whoever is going to be over making this a success. Now, so the first thing you can do is make sure that your teachers and your principals and everybody that's going to be involved, including parents, everybody has a schedule in advance. Every teacher should know this family is coming to me from this time to this time, and already have that student's information prepared, saved, ready to go. If you did an online portfolio, if you did an interactive notebook, that teacher should already have those interactive notebooks for those kids on that schedule, and they're stacked and they're ready to go before you start student-centered conferences. When teachers and principals and administrators are planned and prepared, students are going to feel more confident. If you got a lot of stuff going on and parents are here and there and people don't know where to go, it's going to really freak your students out and they're not going to be ready. Start promptly. This is so important. If you say you're starting at 7:30, start at 7:30 and run the bells in your building according to your schedule. If you said you have 15 minutes for the first conference, at the end of that 15 minutes, the bell rings and you're pushing them out. If you're an administrator, as a principal, I was coming in, opening doors, thanking parents with a smile. Thank you so much. I hope that conference went well. We're going to go ahead and get you to the next one. And keeping everybody moving through the process is so important if you want to execute like a pro. The next tip in execution is to ensure that students have the opportunity to present from beginning to end their whole presentation. If it's 5 minutes that they have prepared that they're going to be talking, then allow them to go the 5 minutes. If it's 10, whatever the logistics of your conference is going to be, make sure students get to be in the driver's seat from beginning to end. They go through their presentation as they practiced it, uninterrupted. And then at the end, they should be prompted in their practicing to invite questions. And so when they invite questions from their parents and their teacher, then you can ask your clarifying questions. This is a perfect opportunity for parents to see their kids as experts in whatever it is you've taught them. We always say at the Fresh Classroom, a true assessment of what a kid knows is what they can tell you. What do they remember? Not just what they can write down or bubble in on a test. A student's ability to stand and deliver is a game changer. I mean, I've had parents come up to me after these kind of conferences saying, I've never heard my kid talk as a professional. I didn't know my kid could talk like that. Why? Because we prepped them, we practiced, and we executed like a pro. And so when you do these 3 things, plan with intention, prepare and practice the kiddos, and execute like a pro, you'll be sure to have a phenomenal student-centered conference. If you have any other questions, you can drop them below, and I'll be sure to respond. Me or somebody from the Fresh team will get back to you. Until next time, make sure you're keeping it fresh in the classroom. Head on over to our website today for more information about upcoming events, freebies that you can grab and download today, videos for inspiration in the classroom, and a whole host of other things to keep you and your campus freaking fresh. Until next time, I'm Stephanie Boyce. Thank you for joining.